It's January the 13th, 2015, and I'm Dana Durnford, also known as the nuclearproctologist.org. And I am on the expedition for life at the coastline of British Columbia. If you click the right hand corner, you get sections, and you can scroll down to the bottom, and I posted January 9th to January 10th, and January the 11th, 2015, and December 28th was the other day that I posted from 2014. Now, in the sections, the first thing you're going to see is comparisons to Chernobyl and Fukushima. I might talk with a bit of slur tonight because I took a spill and busted a few teeth, and so I just got back from the dentist. That's life. Chernobyl, 1/3 the size of a single Fukushima reactor. Radiation fallout from the jet streams. Jet streams are real, and the Pacific Ocean, and that's real. And if you open those up, you'll get an amazing amount of information. And number 5 and 6 is the same thing. And there's your pictures of Fukushima, page 7, over 2,000 pictures. And melted and ejected nuclear cores, and there's several hundred headlines in each of these categories. And they're from E&E News, and E&E News is an aggregator of energy news. You got a new headline: 13 billion times more neutrons. We believe that the MOX fuel from reactor 3, and you can find reactor 3 in these sections here. Down here, I think, yeah, the cores. If you go look at the cores, and all of these will have some of it in there, but the Fukushima melted and ejected nuclear cores, that'll give you all the information about each of the reactors, including 5 and 6. A little funny, my mouth is still numb from the dentist. Now, imagine your kid at the beach saying, "Mommy or Daddy, what kind of starfish is that?" And you say, "That's a deformed starfish." Let's get a bigger picture. Is that it? Oh yeah, that was one eating a starfish. Starfish. The only starfish I found, and he was eating starfish. Get that picture up. Okay. Go back a couple, there he is. And that's real. That's real. And just like that starfish down here is real. Up, bigger eyes. Give that a second. That's not normal, folks. That is not normal. See that there? That is deformed on a major scale. That was the only one I found on the shoreline. Now that day, I think that's the 10th of January, a couple of days ago. We're up on the beach. We got the new Zodiac, and that's huge, that little Zodiac. I'm by myself, and so that solved all the problems. And we found 2 species at the high tide line on one beach. We found some snails and some limpets. There's limpets down in that picture. I'm not going to go clicking away because it makes too much noise. And all the rocks and everything is naked. This was Spicer Island. And the cormorants, that was the only group I've seen of them. I've never seen any flocks of birds since we started the expedition for life in August, or actually last week of July. But the underwater pictures are showing some sea urchins and a few starfish and some clintons. They're underwater. And there's a bit of life clinging on, but you got to realize that the entire coastline is completely naked. And it's not supposed to be like that. These rocks should have up to 600 algae on them, up to 78 species of sea anemones, all kinds of invertebrates and all kinds of life in the tidal pool, and sponges and periwinkles, and just a massive amount of life. And should be totally difficult to get up on to the high tide line. And all of these days, the first set of pictures are just after sunrise, so the pictures are going to be a bit dark. And these are later in the day, so there's a lot more light. And they were mostly cloudy days, a bit of sunshine that day. And open ocean over to the Charlottes you're looking at on that angle. And just to give people context. And so I'm out in the kelp off the shoreline and drop the camera underwater. Get some pictures from both cameras and switch cameras. And so there's very little kelp left, and there's nothing else there. Now normally you would expect just oodles of sea cucumbers and starfish and clintons and whelks in particular, big snails. You expect all kinds of algae, all kinds of sponges, and then you would have all the little critters and creatures and prawns and everything else living there and feeding there, and there'd be a lot of activity. But it is not unusual to see urchins by themselves like that. You can see baby urchins. That is normal. Now you would normally, when I was doing urchins, you would pick 20,000 of these a day. 20,000. And so you can imagine how many could be there and should be there. In order for someone to be able to do that. This is extremely sparse picking, and you can only pick those beak ones, and you can't pick the giant ones, they're too big. So you can only pick the 3-inch, 3.5-inch urchin. That's what you're looking at anyway. And I thought that was good pictures. And day 11 pictures of underwater are screen captures from the videos. It's too hard to put my hand in water and get pictures, everything gets soaking wet. And there's no life above water and little life below water. There's more life underwater, but not much. And this coastline, all coastlines have been devastated. But I just wanted to put out a little video because it's been a rough day on my face. And I'm not really up to doing stuff, so I do it anyway. When I'm not up to doing it, that's how I get things done. The expedition for life is going to continue on. I'm all fueled up. Got everything except for the grub. I'll go pick the grub up. Money showed up again today. I never had enough money for when I got in last night or the night before to get a phone card. It never showed up till this morning. And so that's how the trip is running. It's running as the money comes in, I go. And that was $350 worth of fuel, not counting the other stuff, just fuel. And so this time I'll go out, and that's the idea of that little Zodiac, is that thing only burnt 1.5 gallons in 3 full days. That's pretty impressive. And so the idea, I got a couple extra jerry cans today because I lost a few, and I'm going way down to the bottom of Banks Island. It's a long way down, and I'm going to sneak out to Tiro Point and out around the corner and try to get up to King Cowan over a 2 or 3 day period. And I might get pinned in there for 4 or 5 days. But there's a lot of spots up there I can search, even though it's going to be bad weather. And I've been on the boat at that stage without getting a hotel room forever. I don't know, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, almost 7 weeks, I guess. By the time I get back without getting a hotel room. And by rights I should have had one tonight because my head is killing me. And I'm not worried about it. I'm more concerned about getting out there and getting the data and getting that posted up at the nuclear proctologist so people got access to it and can't deny it anymore. They can't run away from it anymore. I'm just going to show you some headlines. Fukushima, now I haven't read that one, so I'm not going to talk about it. 13 billion times more neutrons than initially estimated. Billion times, 13 billion times more. And more, the original is a staggering amount, so 13 billion times more than a staggering amount is catastrophic. And it's an extinction event for the Pacific Ocean. That's what we're seeing unfolding. And ABC says mystery surge in sick marine mammals all along the California coast. And that's what I've seen over and over. Seriously ill, in very bad shape. And this is what we're hearing now for the last 3 years, because the neutrons, the atoms apparently are releasing X-rays and neutrons. So normally the atoms from the radioactive fallout would be gammas, betas, or alphas. And so neutrons would be for actual chunks, pieces. And so what happened was they were using MOX fuel, enriched plutonium in all the reactors, but certainly Unit 3 is confessed and confirmed. And that was detonated, and let's see if I can bring up a few pictures before I give it up here. And that detonated Fukushima breakdown. I got the pictures in there somewhere. So Unit 1, that's where the fuel pool was. It's missing. The inventory is missing. They took the cores out of the reactor and they put them upstairs on all these 10-story buildings. And these all blew up and atomized and aerosoled and went into our environment and hemorrhaging into our ocean. This is Unit 2, even though it looks like it's okay, it's not. It blew up, caught fire several times. And they put a sarcophagus around Unit 1. They can never get in there, just like Chernobyl. And that's Unit 3. That was MOX fuel. As you can see, it's missing. The entire 10-story building detonated. The fuel pools completely ejected. The cores of the reactors themselves were ejected. Coriums, because they melted down. But we don't know if that was a corium or a core. Corium is the meltdown themselves. And I know I make that mistake all the time and have and continue to do it, but I'll try to keep on top of it. Corium's when it's meltdown. The cores, now the core in that reactor was in operation with 3,450 assemblies, 80 rods in each assembly, and each rod is 12 feet and weighs 18 pounds, and a couple of grams of it will kill everybody in your community many times over, and all the animals and all the birds, all the squirrels, and everything else for 1,000 miles. So imagine what 280,000 times 18 pounds will do. And same thing, building Unit 4 right alongside of it, done the same thing. Unit 4 done the same thing. It lost its inventory into the ocean. That's Unit 3, detonation. You don't need to see that because you looked at the building itself, right? And remember, at the nuclearproctologist.org, in sections, there's 2,200 pictures right here, 2,000 pictures. So you can go look at it yourself, make up your own mind. And let me come back to that slide and finish off that set for you, and then we'll call it a night. And Unit 3 destroyed, and Unit 4 completely annihilated. And there's a big controversy around that. There's Unit 4, and this is what they say the interior to the left looks like. But look at it. Totally destroyed. Fuel pools were on the roof. The reactor core was right here. It's all destroyed. The whole building is destroyed. Yet they say it looks like that on the inside. So if I went in there and looked up inside of that building, would it look like that on the inside? Of course not. They can't get in Chernobyl, and they bloody well can't get in there. It doesn't look like that in there, but that's the official pictures you're looking at. Both of those pictures are the official pictures, folks. And each reactor holds 3,450 spent fuel pools. And this is another official picture. But how could that picture exist inside of Unit 4? How could that? And you can see CBC, RT, physics.org, Motherboard, World Nuclear News, all had the little pictures that I showed you earlier as their official picture, but neither of them bothered asking the question of how do you get from here to there, or there to here. So that's the fable they want to feed you till the end of time. You can learn everything about it just in those top 6 stories right there, and there's a lot of reading, amazing amount of reading to be read there. but it will educate you in the most important ways possible. You know, outright failures. There's the headlines to plague Fukushima plant. Public may think the worst is over, but it's not. It'll never end, just like Chernobyl. For the next 10,000 years, they'll have to build sarcophagus. Unprecedented, cataclysmic die-off of the birds on the entire west coast. What have I been showing you and telling everybody since August is that I haven't seen a flock of birds. I haven't seen a flock of birds. So they don't report on that. They got to report on the dead bodies. And they finally admit that they're starving to death. And what does all my pictures show everybody is that the coastline is missing everything out of the nursery. And so when you take that was what they fed on. That's where all the larvae and the small fries and the eggs would end up to and hatch. That's where all the nutrients of the ocean, the liberation of the ocean, the elements, is your coastline. And documents reveal radiation spike at the world's fifth. Like all the nuclear reactors are bad, but none of them are like the 3 melter reactors at Fukushima. That is hell on earth. That's why they always, these movies about China syndrome. That's why we have terrorist laws, because this stuff is so dangerous. And that's why they can't tell you the truth, because they told you it wasn't on one side, and on the other side they tell you they need terrorist laws. But on one side, when they're talking to the university, they say, oh, it's like potato chips or bananas or walking in sunshine or dental x-rays. And if you ingest a single atom, it's a billion times worse than all those put together, because it's continuous releases into your body attacks and creates a tumor. And so it might take 5 years to show up. But the stuff in Fukushima was extraordinary stuff, because it was MOX fuel, because it had already went through a chain reaction, and now it was 2 million times worse, and they'd done it again. And if they tell you the truth, then everything they've ever said before becomes known as the lie, and no one will even want to talk to them ever again. And so they got to keep the lie alive, and we got to keep the truth alive. That's what we're doing. That's why we work so hard every day to do the things, little things that we do. And if anybody thinks for a second this is some kind of a grand adventure or anything like that, you have no idea, no concept of what it takes every day to get out here and do what I'm doing, or how difficult it is to do it on a small budget that I got. And the fact that I got a nice operation doesn't mean like I haven't got a small budget. It's something that we built in order to get this job done, and that's the fruit of the labor, that we got a real operation, and it's pretty straightforward. We just got to keep moving the operation now and gathering up the data. Obviously, the last 3 days there was no hitches, no kinks in the system whatsoever. Everything was clockwork, so it should be, but I mean, it's me by myself on the ocean against the elements, and the elements this time of year on the west coast of British Columbia, Canada, in the middle of nowhere, is not a picnic in any sense of the word. It's very difficult. It's an endless 24-hour-a-day job, and you're by yourself, and you don't know if there's any results, because you don't know. I don't know what people are thinking or really saying, because I'm stuck on the ocean all the time. And once in a while I get bandwidth and I'm able to get something up, but that's what I'm doing tonight. The weather's going to be bad for tomorrow, and it looks like Thursday night is coming down again, so Friday morning, 7 o'clock, I'll grub up and burn out of here and head down to the bottom of Banks Island, and it'll probably take another week down there before I get back. And so I'm trying to make the trips longer so the fuel goes further because of the budget we're on. The operation, once again, I'm not stopping, I'm not turning back. I don't care what it takes for me to keep moving forward and getting the data. We got to do it. We got no option. It's got to get done. No one's going to come do it, and no one's going to be able to put this operation together like we got and get the data the way we got it. It's indisputable to come out here and take all those pictures, and it's so difficult to post them, and it's just mind-numbing amount of energy and time to get all this done. And I'm always worried about, like, I came in the other day and there was no money in my account yet. It takes 5 or 6 days for it to show up, and so that's a huge problem. That's the only thing that's really killing me all the time, is I'm always terrified when I come ashore I'm not going to have a nickel in the account. And that's happened a few times, and lucky me, a few days later something will show up and get us moving again. But as that changes, we are really going to pump it out. We're going to bring out the data now anyway, because I got a full-fledged, hardcore attitude at this stage. Nothing has put me off this trail, and I've been through some really difficult times. I took a real blow to the side of the head today. That's a hard fall. I snapped a couple of teeth off. I'm in a lot of pain, but I can't stop what I'm doing. I can't think of nothing but getting this job done, solving the problem. So straight off to the dentist, deal with it, get back here, shoot a video. I wasn't even going to mention it. Shoot a video, and then crash, and get up tomorrow morning. Do it again. Go around the boat with the wrenches, tighten up everything before I head back out the next day, because I got nothing to do tomorrow. I'm just going to take a day off. I probably won't even feel like doing nothing in the morning by the way I feel right now, but I'll do it anyway, because it's got to get done, so that when the weather breaks, there's no way I miss that opportunity. I can get out there and hang off islands. That Zodiac is fantastic. Stick up a beach line, nothing to it. Hit the beaches as quick as you want, as many as you want. Really, really, truly going to stick it to them now. And I don't stop from daylight to dark, and then I'm stuck on an anchor by myself all night long trying to catch up, so I'm able to get the videos ready for when I get ashore and find some bandwidth and post it. And so that works really good too. I don't have to sit here at the shoreline, lean over and try to get through everything. I do it each night. That's how I manage to make it through each night. So it's a lot of work, and I do it willingly. I'll do it every day given the opportunity until the job is done. And I think right now I can safely say, no matter what happens, we're going to have that debate. 2015, the world is going to find out, and we're going to have that data. And it's not me, it's us. We've done this. We already succeeded every way possible. But I think now we're really going to get an enormous amount of data, because we really truly are set up in just an extraordinary way. And it's gratifying to get ashore and post all those pictures yesterday and the night before. I never stopped from the second I got ashore till yesterday evening around 4 o'clock when I finished with the last of them. And that's all I done for almost 24 hours, was slowly upload picture after picture after picture, so people can actually have some context that the North Coast is even worse than the South down by Vancouver Island. Had more life than the wild northwest coast of British Columbia. That is inconceivable. That is unimaginable. And the truth is there. People just got to look and give it an opportunity. The birds are all die-offs. That's right around the Pacific. We're seeing that they starved to death. They starved to death because the radiation, like we've been talking about for so long, has killed all their life. The phytoplankton got wiped out. Phytoplankton can't bioaccumulate radiation, see? That's a fable. It kills them. It pops them like popcorn, and it pops them. It'll do that forever. Because it was MOX fuel. It was already through a chain reaction one time. Okay, I'm just mumbling at this stage, and that's not good. Hugs for everybody. Thank you, everybody, for making sure that we have the opportunity to get this data. And now it's up on the website. I feel better just knowing that myself. People can go there and look at it. Just 4 sets of pictures. And like you say, you got to scroll to the bottom of sections and get a handle on what is really going on here. See it for your own eyes. Look at January 9th. Man, this mouse hates me. January 9th, January 10th, January 13th pictures. And there's around 1,200 pictures altogether, not counting January 20 or December 28th, the bird there. So 1,200 pictures yesterday of just Banks Island, Spicer Island, and Macaulay Islands, and the group of islands. That tells the whole story. But as we get the rest of the data over the next couple of months, there's not going to be an academic on the planet that's going to be able to ignore this. That I feel very strongly, because how can they? And how are they going to explain that mutated starfish to their child is what they should ask themselves. It's time for the academic community to realize they can't hide away from all their lies and manipulations and deceptions the misrepresentation that they've been doing to the entire population for 70 years, it's caught them. It's caught up to them. Their pensions are history, and they need to salvage their human dignity and come out and tell the truth about what happened. Because it's crazy that we got to go do this. I thought we had academics out there. They go look at tuna, but they won't go look at the microscopic and the filter feeders and the tidal pools and nursery of the ocean. Is a despicable legacy at best. Hugs for everybody.